What is going on, everybody? It's KB. Before the episode starts, make sure you go check out StreamerSZN's brand new theme music. That's right. We have full-time, brand new theme music thanks to the newest homie and newest member of the music side of Underground Sports Philadelphia homies. That is Mobley Stay Volk. His new single is out now. It is linked in the description on YouTube, and you'll be hearing it on audio until we can figure out if we can play it on video on StreamerSZN episodes from here on out. That's our new theme music. Stay Volk. Go download it now wherever you get your music, and go check out the music video on YouTube. But now, let's get into the episode of StreamerSZN.
Philadelphia, baby, you're gonna love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
All by myself. What is going on, fellow streamers? Welcome into another edition of StreamerSZN, the exclusive streaming platform TV and movie podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. It's your boy KB coming at you solo dolo for the first part of this episode. Christian will be joining me for the continuation of our Ted Lasso breakdowns and news and notes. But for Ahsoka, we had a lot of scheduling conflicts, and with the new time switch up, Dylan getting back from vacation, it was just tough to schedule with the 2-episode premiere, so we're working on scheduling. But I'm going to bring you Ahsoka episodes 1 and 2 in our breakdowns here. I was taking notes vigorously. I'm a fan of this new release time, and we're going to get into the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka, and spoiler warning, I'm a huge fan. And normally, you know, I get bashed a little bit by the boys. None of that's going to go on here. I'm going to give you my full, undivided, swooning nerd takes with our Ahsoka breakdowns. But before we get started, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at StreamerSZN, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, TikTok is StreamerSZN Pod, and Facebook.com/UndergroundSportsPHI. Follow me on Twitter at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple, Spotify, or wherever the hell you get your podcasts. Leave a 5-star rating and review. It goes a long way for helping this show continue to grow. We're trying to take this thing to new levels as we hit this, final leg of 2023 and going into 2024. We want to take StreamerSZN to new levels, and it is done by the help of you guys. Subscribe to the podcast feed. Leave your TV and movie recommendations in the Apple Podcast reviews. You can also leave them in the YouTube comment section. YouTube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. That's where you get full video episodes of this show every week. No matter when the show drops, it will be on the YouTube channel. You get clips, shorts, live streams, original video content, all of that on our YouTube channel. YouTube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. And our Ahsoka breakdown this week brought to you by our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company. Guys, there's no doubt in our minds you're going to stand out when you're watching Ahsoka, when you're going to the movie theater, when you're Netflix and chilling with your significant other, when you're hanging out with the fam and having a family movie or show night in your StreamerSZN merch. Get your StreamerSZN shirts and hoodies. Get your amazing Philly sports merch, all your Underground Sports Philadelphia podcast merch from our friends and our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company. And when you go to check out, use code UNDERGROUND. You get 10% off all merch orders. Apologize for the yawn. I'm recording this at 2 in the morning. 10% off code UNDERGROUND at phiapparel.co on your merch from PHI Apparel Company. All right, everybody, let's get into it. But we do have something special every week for Ahsoka. So here is the patented Christian Wisnewski spoiler warning. And 3, 2, 1.
Hello, Jedis and Padawans and bounty hunters across the galaxy. This is your spoiler warning for Ahsoka. If you've not watched this week's episode, please pause the podcast, go watch this week's episode and come back so you can join the journey and stop the Sith. Or am I the Sith? That is for you to decide. Enjoy this week's episode.
And there it is. Your spoiler warning has been delivered. This is part 1, Master and Apprentice, directed by Dave Filoni, written by Dave Filoni. A little short blurb, and I'll give you guys my notes as I broke it down throughout watching the episode. Baylan Skoll and his apprentice, Shin Hati, assault a New Republic cruiser carrying Lady Morgan Elsbeth, who we know from The Mandalorian Season 2, when she was dueling with Ahsoka. Morgan Elsbeth previously captured by Ahsoka Tano. The pair rescue Lady Elsbeth, very Leia being rescued in the original trilogy, who informs Skoll that Ahsoka is searching for Thrawn. Ahsoka and Huyang. I'm sorry for yawning. I'm trying to get the content out for everybody. Huyang obtain a star map to the location of Grand Admiral Thrawn. Very Indiana Jones, very Star-Lord-esque of going and getting this map. But before being informed of Lady Elsbeth's escape by Home 1. Regrouping with the fleet, Ahsoka meets with General Hera Syndulla, where Huyang reveals that the star map is still locked. Syndulla advises Ahsoka to obtain Sabine Wren's help unlocking the map. Sabine unlocks the star map before it is stolen by Shin. That's your little blurb there. Here are my notes from episode 1 as I'm sitting just taking notes, breaking it all down for you guys because I wanted this to be in depth. So we got the mercenaries freeing Morgan Elsbeth, Ahsoka on some white stone planet in a temple. She goes Indiana Jones mode and discovers that orb, which ends up being the map. We get Huyang. We get Mandalorian-esque looking droids. They've got spears. They've got capes. They look like Mandalorian. I don't know if that was to kind of throw Ahsoka off a little bit to maybe be like, oh, I can trust you. No, you can't. And then they go in self-destruct mode and blow up the planet. We get that Fulcrum name drop. Syndulla and Ahsoka meet up, and the orb was the star map, and that leads to the location of Thrawn. Thrawn was presumed dead. He's not dead. They're going to get Sabine's help. We get the Ezra memorial ceremony going on where Sabine's appearance is supposed to happen, but it doesn't. We see the famous Rebels mural that we saw in the animated series, which looks identical. Job well done there. And then we get Sabine riding a speeder, kick-ass music throughout this entire premiere. Sabine on that speeder giving hella Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds vibes and energy. If you guys know, you know. I was watching, I was like, whoa, this is giving 5Ds. We get to Sabine's house, and we get an Ezra recorded hologram message saying he sacrificed himself to prevent the world from being taken over by Thrawn, essentially. And, now everything for this next part of the mission is in Sabine's hands. May the Force be with you. And then we get the mercenary Jedi, Skoll and Shin Hati on the blown up planet. And then we get the ultimate name drop. For you Clone Wars stans out there like your boy, and everybody knows if you watched our Ahsoka season preview with myself and Joe Andress, go do that as well. Y'all know I have not watched Rebels. I have not watched Rebels yet. It is on my to-do list. Don't worry. But I have watched Clone Wars. When we get this name drop in here, this whole blown up John was a temple of the Night Sisters of Dathomir, the Witches of Dathomir, baby. Oh, when I tell you guys, I had goosebumps. I have goosebumps right now. When I heard Morgan Elsbeth talk about the Night Sisters of Dathomir and that homegirl is a sister of Dathomir, it brought music to my ears. It was beauty to my soul, because that makes Morgan Elsbeth that much cooler of a character, makes her whole connection to this thing that much doper, and oh my gosh, I have chills talking about it. The fact that Morgan Elsbeth is a sister of Dathomir. She is a witch. Witches of Dathomir, if you don't know them from Star Wars Clone Wars, good grief, what an awesome arc. They are the reason that Darth Maul had a brother, and my heart is singing right now, everybody. My heart is singing because we got the Witches of Dathomir in live action. The name drop happened. Then we get Ahsoka's apprentice, Sabine Wren, being hunted, obviously, by Shati now. And Sabine arrives, misses the ceremony, and she's reunited with Ahsoka. Ahsoka shows off the map to Sabine, and the map was on Arcana and the mercenaries that's what I'm referring to Skull and Shati as. They're Jedi trained. Hu Yang doesn't recognize one of the lightsabers, but he recognized Baylan Skulls, who he thinks disappeared at the end of the Clone Wars, like many Jedi did. Could be a master and apprentice situation. If that's the case, they're going to be formidable opponents to Ahsoka, especially if she's on her own, but it doesn't feel like she's going to be on her own that much longer. Sabine dips out with the map when she's not supposed to, and she gets seen by a probe droid, and shout out Heavy Spoilers, in his breakdown mentioned it was very similar to Darth Maul's droids that he had in the prequel movies. We get Sabine looking at her Mando helmet. We get an Anakin name drop. Oh, the references in this episode are just mwah, 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 beautiful. Then we get three figures, three faces. Sabine solves the map puzzle, and then she gets ambushed by these droids. We get a lightsaber duel between Sabine and the leader of these droids, who I'm blanking on the name, and I have it in my episode 2 notes. Sabine and Marek. Marek is the leader of like these droid-looking homies. He's got a lightsaber, so he's force sensitive. Obviously, we get a lightsaber duel. Ahsoka's coming to the rescue, and then Sabine gets stabbed, Qui-Gon Jinn-esque, and then that's how the episode ends. What an ending to episode 1. And we get an awesome tribute at the end for our friend Rey, who is playing Baylan Skull, the actor. Why can I not find his name? I have it in my notes. Ray Stevenson, unfortunately passed away, and will not get to see this awesome show that he's a part of. He crushed it in this episode, crushed it in the second episode. Very awesome tribute there at the end. And I forgot to mention too, at the beginning of this episode, they do the awesome Rebels Clone Wars-esque title screen reading off to catch you up to speed with everything. I loved this episode. This was a phenomenal premiere. It felt like live-action Clone Wars, and I was texting Joe Andress, and I said, it's giving House of the Dragon, like, energy and vibes and, like, aura, while still being a live-action Clone Wars Rebels episode. It was phenomenal. Loved every second of it. And I'm giving this episode a fat whopping 9.2 out of 10 on the grading scale, everybody. It was an awesome episode. I loved it. Rotten Tomatoes reports that 86% of 56 critics gave the series a positive review with an average rating of 7.6 out of 10. The critical consensus reads, elevated by Rosario Dawson's strong performance in the title role and a solid story that balances new and old elements of the Star Wars saga. Ahsoka is a must-watch for fans of the franchise, and on Metacritic, the series holds a weighted average score of 69 out of 100. Nice. On 22 critics indicating generally favorable reviews. I love this episode. I thought it was a phenomenal introduction. So much happens, but it's really well curated. I was a big fan as we get set on Tano Tuesdays, as everybody's calling it. I thought this was an awesome way to kick off this series. They did a great job, and I totally understand too why they did a 2-episode premiere. Just a great episode. It was so good. I was glued to the screen the entire time. Jaw dropped at the end when Sabine gets stabbed. And a job well done on episode 1. Dave Filoni cooked. No notes. Beautiful. Mwah. Mwah. Chef's kiss. 5 out of 5 Italian hands on this episode. 9.2 out of 10 is my score. And let's get into episode 2 of this 2-part premiere of Ahsoka. All right, episode 2, titled, or I should say part 2, titled Toil and Trouble, a clear reference to witches, a clear reference to Macbeth. Steph Green directed this episode, written by Dave Filoni. Here is the little synopsis, and then I'll get into my notes that I took during the episode watch. Seeking the star map, Ahsoka and Syndulla travel to the Corellian shipyards in time to see a massive hyperdrive built for Elsbeth's ship to travel to Thrawn's hiding place. The hyperdrive escapes to hyperspace after Chopper attaches a tracking device. Very minimal notes there on the notes page, but I've got plenty of notes. Bum, bum, bum. So get ready for the KB notes. So, Ahsoka episode 2 notes from your boy. We get Ahsoka in a white light. We get flashback audio kind of like tapping into things we heard in the last episode. And we can kind of tell Ahsoka's tapping into the Force a bit. And something that she hasn't done in a while. She's more in touch with her inner self than I think she thinks she is. And then it kind of cuts to Sabine being aided to after her getting stabbed. And I'm sure Qui-Gon Jinn is like, "Ayo. Why couldn't I survive getting stabbed with a lightsaber?" She informs Ahsoka about some of the map details, but not everything, because by the time she was trying to get ready, she got ambushed. We get the mercenary Jedi at a dark temple, kind of resembling the temple we saw in The Mandalorian when Grogu was doing his yoga, and kind of like very Rebels, very Clone Wars type of temple. We are told that this is Cetus, and it's a reflex point. Ahsoka surveys Sabine's home and the damage, and she plays the Ezra message from the hologram, and then there's a droid still there. Ahsoka murks it. She's like, "I'm glad you were still here. I was hoping you were still here." The droid has several built-in backup systems so they can tap into its memory, see where it came from. The droid is from Corellia, a New Republic shipyard, which is where Morgan Elsbeth was supposed to have her stuff shut down, but apparently wasn't shut down. Morgan arrives to Cetus, and she expands the map, and Thrawn is banished, quote unquote. And Thrawn begins to reach out to Morgan. We get the Merrick name drop in this episode as well, I believe for the first time. I could be confused. I may have just missed it in episode 1. Then we have a nice dialogue between Skull and his apprentice, where she goes, "What happens when you find Thrawn?" And Skull goes, "For some, war. For others, a new beginning. For us, power, such as you've never dreamed." And I thought that was just a great like dialogue line, great overall like lines there. And this episode had such good transitions from one point to the next. I love that about this episode. But great dialogue there between our two mercenary Jedi. So we're investigating the shipyard, and then we get Syndulla and Ahsoka talking, and it says, "What makes someone ready?" And Ahsoka says, "You just know," and so do they. Sabine modified Ezra's lightsaber to make it her own. We find out that she's been using Ezra's lightsaber. Ahsoka gets ambushed by Empire apologists, and Ahsoka's lightsaber duel with the droids commences, including Merrick and those Inquisitor-ass lightsabers that they have. We were right in our predictions. Shout out to Joe. We were right. Those were Inquisitor-ass lightsabers. Syndulla starts chasing after the ship with Chopper, and Merrick escapes with the apprentice mercenary Jedi. Tracking device gets placed on the ship, though. You suckers. Sabine digs up her Mandalorian helmet, puts on her Mando armor, and then takes her blade out and cuts her hair, getting very Rebels-esque Sabine Wren. She visits the mural. Ahsoka arrives. We get that same ending scene as Rebels. They transport to the Dayneb system and back to Cetus, and Ahsoka calls Sabine Padawan. They hit hyperdrive. Then we get that big old space ring ship, which is Morgan Ellsworth's base. And did I say Elsbeth earlier? No, Morgan Ellsworth. It's her base. And then Skull, that boy worried as hell. He a little coward-ass boy. He's scared as hell of Ahsoka. Doesn't want her to die. They obviously have a clear connection because it was brought up earlier, obviously, that the lightsaber was recognized. He's coming from the Jedi Temple and everything, so he clearly knows Ahsoka. He doesn't want her to die. Ellsworth is calling him a little baby back bitch for it. He's a little coward ass boy. He ain't fully evil. A great follow-up episode, in my opinion. This did a great job of bridging the two together. No pun intended. Shout out Ezra. I enjoyed this episode a lot too. This was a great 2-episode premiere for Ahsoka. I'm gonna give this episode an 8.7. Phenomenal debut for this show. I am fully entrenched, fully in the mud with this one. I'm loving it so far. I can't wait for more episodes to drop. I'm so excited to see where this story is going to take us, where my theory brain is going to go. We're going to get our StreamerSZN theory foil hats on, and we're going to theorize the shit out of this show. I'm so excited to talk about it with Dylan, with Joe, with all you Star Wars nerds in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on Ahsoka's premiere. I loved it. I'm a huge fan of what I saw, and this is coming from somebody who hasn't seen Rebels, so I don't have that added connection and backstory on everything. This is my first introduction to a lot of these characters in an actual show setting, but I loved it. 9.2 for episode 1, 8.7 for episode 2. Let me know in the YouTube comment section your guys' thoughts on Ahsoka episodes 1 and 2. And without any further ado, let's get back into our Ted Lasso breakdowns with myself and Christian. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. I'm no longer alone. I am joined by the man, the myth, the legend. Legend has it.
Yo.
Christian is with me as we continue our Ted Lasso journey. Almost done. Should be done hopefully by next week. Sad but true. Our Ted Lasso episode 8 breakdown is brought to you by our pals over at Tomahawk Shades, the best small batch eyewear in the game. Download their app, guys. They have a brand new app in the App Store, Google Play. Search Tomahawk Shades, and just for downloading the app, you get to claim a free pair of sunglasses that get shipped right to you, and you get exclusive access to events that they have going on when new products are going to be available, from sunglasses to blue light glasses, prescription lenses, and everything in between. Download the app, Tomahawk Shades, or go to TomahawkShades.com, and when you go to checkout, when you have your cart all filled up, use promo code USP for 25% off your order. That's a crazy promo code. Tomahawk Shade's been rocking with us since 2020, so make sure you go support them because they're an awesome business, so give them the support and love they deserve. TomahawkShades.com, or download the app in the App Store and Google Play. Shout out to the homies over at Tomahawk Shades, and use code USP for 25% off. And as I was doing the ad read, Christian, I think your microphone unplugged, but I think it's back in.
Yeah, sorry, my mic got disconnected there, so I just was like, I'm not hearing what Kyle is saying. Troubleshoot.
We got Ted Lasso episode 8 this week. Obviously, with the big Ahsoka premiere, we had to shift some things around. But we've got episode 8 titled "We'll Never Have Paris," and here we go.
Hold
Michelle,
on, Kyle. What famous movie is that line slightly parodying?
oh boy, breaking the fourth wall. We're recording this at 12:18 in the morning, so brain not at full functioning capacity. But I'm sure you'll tell me.
Casablanca.
Okay, yeah,
In
I would
in
have gotten that.
in which the famous line is, "We'll always have Paris."
There you go.
So
Christian's Fun
anyway,
Facts will be sponsored at some point.
hopefully,
Please.
please.
So Michelle, Dr. Jacob, and Henry visit Ted in London. Ted is unsettled to learn Michelle is going to Paris with Dr. Jacob, whom he suspects wants to propose to her. He asks Rebecca's help in investigating the matter, but Rebecca convinces him to let it go on her Elsa, on her Beatles grind, let it go, let it be, and enjoy the time he gets to spend with Henry. Ted, Beard, and Henry attend a West Ham game. Nate is privately pleased to see them. Keely is horrified to discover that a sexually explicit video of her has leaked online. Jack, hoping to preserve her reputation among her wealthy friend circle, has lawyers draft an apology for Keely to read. Keely refuses, prompting an argument with Jack, and Jamie then visits her and apologizes for failing to delete an email containing Keely's leaked video, which she sent to him while they dated. The two share a hug. Isaac discovers Colin is gay when the team agrees to erase all explicit photos of ex-partners. Michelle returns from Paris, and Ted notices she is not wearing a ring. Bom, bom, bom. Christian, your thoughts on episode 8?
Again, this is kind of a mixed bag episode for me. Like this is one of the kind of like, along with Amsterdam, is one of the like real Jamie Tart, like actually growing into being a decent being an actual functional human being arc. We kind of just get Nate dropped back in on us a little bit, which, like this is the whole thing where they tried to juggle so many personal plates in this season that it's you have storylines coming in and out, and it's uneven. But the Nate thing felt a little weird, if I'm being honest. Did it feel the same for you?
Yeah, it was a little like not exactly forced. It was just like, oh, we got to remind everybody that Nate's coaching West Ham, and kind of tying that into Ted and Henry's like affinity for FIFA and like the soccer connection they have there. Um, so like I got it from that aspect, but it was also like, oh yeah, don't forget, Nate's here.
Yeah, don't don't forget that this key person from the first 2 seasons of our show is still on this show, right? Yeah, nods.
Nate is great. Nate is great. That was my West Ham fan impression.
Nate's Nate's head immediately inflates to the size of a watermelon.
And then he tries to go book a dinner reservation.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it was a solid episode all around. Not the best, not the worst. Definitely some stuff that felt like it was like trying to be forced in, but overall, not a terrible episode to say the least. I feel like there are very few terrible episodes in this show as a whole. But Christian, your score for episode 8 will never have Paris.
This is, as much as I hate to do it, it's gotta be like I'm just gonna give it a 7, because like as much as I loved all like the the worst thing about this season is like every episode has its moments, but it's nowhere near the consistency and levelness of the prior two seasons. So
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the full season yet, like you and Dylan have, but overall, like, without spoiling anything, does it feel like this season could have been like divided into another season, or was it like
no,
rushed?
so for Kyle, do you know the story about the production of this season?
I do not.
So they basically had the whole thing written, and then Jason Sudeikis was like, let's rewrite the whole thing."
Mm.
And so I feel like that, in a large part, has helped contribute to the mess that we're seeing on screen. Where, like, I like a lot of the individual storylines, like Colin's storyline, sure. Nate, like, in a world, yes, it works. Jamie and Roy, yes, but the problem is it's spinning so many plates that every episode, two or three of the plates come crashing to the ground, and really only one of them gets a resounding thing.
Red Panda would never.
Yeah, and once again, I like hate to circle back to Amsterdam, but it's like satisfying Jamie and Roy, satisfying Colin and Trent, hilarious rest of the team trying to vote on stuff. Ted with a barbecue sauce, um, psychotic dream, or one where like that episode to me strikes the right balance of funny and sincere, but they try and do like they're this this season they've gone for a lot more sincere, and I feel like especially with this, so when you're trying to jam so much sincere while trying to stay a comedy, that you have two things actively working against each other, and then you throw all the storylines in there, and I'm like, did you, like, like realistically, do we need the whole Rebecca storyline this season? No, no, but it's there. And then we have Rupert, who pops in and out of this season, and when we get in the next episode or two, Rupert's gonna pop his head back in again, and then he'll pop his head in at the end of the season again. And there's so many characters popping in and out, and like we talked about this when it came to Zava. The the Zava run was a lot of fun,
Mm-hmm.
but he just disappears.
Mm-hmm.
And all we get for basically the last three quarters of the season is a hilarious joke of a package he sends ahead of ahead of the final game. It's like, what are we doing here, guys? What are we doing here?
Yeah. Um. I don't know. It's been a very fun watch so far. Um, as a collective, like 3 3/4 seasons that we've gotten, or 2 3/4 seasons that we've gotten through. We'll see how it all wraps up. Um, but let's get into everybody's favorite segment. Not that there's too much to talk about, but we're still gonna make it work. The streaming platform Multiverse News and Notes, brought to you by our pals over at Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia and of StreamerSZN. It's Dylan's favorite beverage of choice when he's hiking through the mountains on vacation with his lady. You guys can go to kenwoodbeer.com. use the all new and improved Kenny Finder to see who's got Kenwood beer on tap in the Philadelphia and Pittsburgh areas. Must be 21 or older to do so. And of course, please drink responsibly. Before we get into the big news of the week so far, I don't know if you saw this, Christian, but it made me absolutely laugh, and it's some of the best Marvel content we've gotten in a while. Loki producer Kevin Wright says Sylvie went straight to McDonald's, no free ads, after destroying the sacred timeline. Quote, now she has this moment of opportunity. Where is she going to go? She'd probably be pretty hungry.
See, here's the thing. I see what you're doing here because you have a tie-in with McDonald's that we've all seen. So, fair play to being funny, but
there is a follow-up quote here. Sophia DiMartino was the one who said she'd be hungry. Long after that convo, the creative team had difficulty continuing Sylvie's storyline after she killed He Who Remains. Eventually, the McDonald's idea was written specifically into the script. Quote, when we stayed in the view of the character, this woman who went on the run as a child had been running through the time, a fugitive of time, living in apocalypses, never being able to relax or slow down. The novelty of walking into a 1980s McDonald's looked appealing. You play a little league game and go to McDonald's. You go to a kid's birthday party at McDonald's.
Bull bleep.
Someone like Sylvie would never have experienced that and would be really taken by that. Now, I don't know about you, Christian, but I did have birthday parties at McDonald's.
I didn't have birthday parties, but probably the dumbest one was back in my swimming days. We would have after morning practice on the weekend. There would be like once or twice a year we would do everyone goes to McDonald's, and famously shout out Anthony DiCarlo, which I know he's not listening to this, but whatever. He broke the team McDonald's hash brown eating record. What do you think the number ended up being?
Now, for everybody at home who may not know, every host of this podcast are former swimmers. We are all swimmers.
Swimmers unite.
Let's see. Trying to put my swimming diet brain on. Did he go a 40-piece?
No. It was
not
it
that
was
extravagant.
No, it wasn't that extravagant.
Was it double digits?
Very clear of double digits.
Okay.
It is one of two numbers. I don't remember which, so you have to deal with the two numbers I put up. But
lay it on me.
So this is after a morning practice, and keep in mind, McDonald's hash browns are what would you say, about 4 inches, 5 inches,
give or take.
Yeah. It was either 23 or 26 of them in one sitting.
I feel like we need to have Mr. Hulkamania Jim Boy himself, Dylan, try to break that record.
No, see, Kyle, here's the thing. I could still probably break it because I still have that. I still have that swimmer human garbage disposal in me. Yeah, I still got that dog in me when it comes to food. Like famously, during my senior picnic, as we're getting ready to wrap up the school year and stuff, there was a burrito eating contest.
Oh Lord!
And so, how big do you think this burrito was?
I'm gonna say a decent sized burrito.
Let's just go with, it was about what, over a foot, like that, about 3 to 4 inches like that, and about an inch or two thick.
Y'all heard that?
Yeah. So it was it was me, some lax players, some baseball players, and some baseball players, and one or two other swimmers. I was full Joey Chestnut. Bite, 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 swig, bite, 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 swig. I got to the last fourth, and I'd been killing it. I was super far ahead. I was hitting a wall, and I ended up getting beat by one of the baseball players.
Oh no.
But he and I were the only ones to end up finishing it. So
That's like
Jo- and here's and right here is the worst part. Like, this was a full-on Pancheros burrito that had everything in it, and then I technically had to go and do a swim practice, but but when I show up, our coach had gotten fired. So right, so they gave us so they gave everyone so they were giving each individual person the option not to swim. I'm like, I'm not swimming.
you would have
I,
sunk.
I'm good, homie. I'm not trying to puke up a pound and
I
a
am
half
gonna
of
need
burrito.
way more than 30 minutes.
I'm gonna need about 3 hours real quick.
That's like my pre-swim practice food intake, looking back on it now, is bonkos.
Dude,
I would have lunch during school, then I would go to Wawa because Wawa's right across the street from my high school, and I would get the chicken tenders bowl that they have with mashed potatoes. I would get 2 Gatorades, 2 Dr. Peppers, 3 donuts, a bag of chips, and like Sour Patch Kids or gummy worms or something, stuff like that, and a soft pretzel. And I would
Okay,
house
home,
that.
Kyle. Serious thing here. I just think we need to start another podcast where it's just all underground sports people getting together and just sharing our sports playing stories
Yeah, 'cause
and
I'm
and
pretty
our
sure
sports.
all of us are former athletes.
Exactly. Like game stories, food stories, etc. Like that would be a fun podcast, right?
The alumni club.
And we have a name for it.
And there it is. And then I would swim for like 2.5 hours, 3 hours,
That's
and then I'd
fucking
go home
psychotic.
and I'd eat dinner.
Yeah, see, here's the thing. I I I I would eat lunch during school, and then I wouldn't eat something until after practice. Cause see, here's the thing, Kyle. Um, Even if I would eat before a morning practice, like uh, and so this story is not necessarily for the faint of heart, but we used to do a set called Killing Wahoos, which was basically it would be, and this was in a long course pool, Kyle, a long course pool that was about 3.5, 4 feet deep. And we would do 400 IM for time until everyone who swims it is under that time. You are not moving on to do the next thing, which would be a 400 free. And then it would be like a 300 free. And let me tell you, I would be drinking a lot of water that after about an hour, that water was coming back out my mouth.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
It was.
I think
Spoiler alert.
I think my greatest swimming accomplishment, not to get too off track though, I was
We got off track a long time ago, Kyle.
very true. I was a beast at kick with a kickboard, and
I was horrible at kick. Spoiler alert.
well, the fun part was my senior year. My coaches were like, if we kept you in sprints instead of putting you in distance your freshman and sophomore year, you probably would have broke the 50 record. It's like, thanks, guys. Thanks for ruining my hopes and dreams of something that I wanted to do since I was in 8th grade. But my coach was like, all right, get out of practice set. If Kyle breaks 40 seconds, 50 kick with a board, we're out. I was like, all right, say less. I went 37 seconds with a board.
Damn, son.
And I couldn't feel my legs after. My legs were still in the pool, and my body was laying flat on the pool deck, like exasperated. And my one coach goes, "You have to swim." I was like, "I'm not moving." He was like, "You have to swim to get the lactic acid out of your body.
You have to swim down.
Go." And I was like, "I can't move." So he pushes me into the pool and is like, "Go." I took like 15 minutes to swim a 25.
Again, Kyle, we have to turn this into an actual podcast. We have to at this point. This is too much fun. This is too much
Anonymous. Fun. Me, you, Dylan, my sister.
Hell, like just no. Athletes Anonymous. And it's
welcome to AA.
Welcome to Athletes Anonymous. AA. Did Pat do any sports?
I feel like he did. I just don't know which one, other than mental gymnastics.
True. like just get everyone on telling our sports war stories.
Matt played soccer. Dom played lacrosse and basketball.
There's got to be some good lax stories there.
DJ's lacrosse.
DJ from Alaska
and football. DJ live from Alaska. McAvoy played football and baseball. Ben, obviously, golf. Dylan was swimming and cross country.
Oh, God.
I played football my freshman year. I played soccer my sophomore year, and then I swam all 4 years in high school.
Wonderful.
And I don't know what Casey or Owen swam.
God, we have so many swimmers.
Owen swam at Widener. I don't know what Casey did. I don't know if Casey swam or not. We have so many fucking former swimmers on this network.
Okay,
Kyle Sockwell, come on the pod.
Yes, Kyle, do it. Dude, we could have such a degenerate time across like 5 episodes just talking about swimming war stories for an hour each time.
Well, you know who follows the pod, and like it just never formulated for it to work out scheduling wise, but I'm still trying to get him on the pod. The legend himself, Rowdy Gaines.
Oh, Rowdy, right?
He follows Underground.
Right. I forgot about this.
So, Rowdy Gaines could come on and just commentate our swim horror stories.
I did a Rowdy Gaines clinic, so
that's pretty sweet. I did a Jason Lezak clinic. Got to hold this gold medal.
There goes Lezak, unbelievable.
All of that because Loki decided to incorporate McDonald's into his show.
Again, Kyle,
beautiful.
I am famous for my friend and I will be texting about like one specific movie thing, and then an hour and a half later we'll be down some rabbit hole about something else, and I'll be like, how do we go from this to this? And it's like we've gone through 7 other things in that span of time. Anyway, streaming platform news and notes.
Were you as surprised to find out that earlier this week Andrew Garfield turned 40? The
He
math
don't
was
feel that old.
the math was not mathing in my head when I saw the happy birthday Andrew Garfield tweets and saying that he was 40. That man looks like he's like 23. He looks fucking incredible for 40.
He is very youthful. But hold on, let's do some math. How old was he when he was Spider-Man? Even before he was Spider-Man, 13 years ago in The Social Network, he was basically 20, 27?
Wow.
So he was 27 then, and he was 29 playing Spider-Man.
Wow. Man, I'm gonna be on my Andrew Garfield grind in October singing 3090 from Tick Tick Boom. Except I'm gonna be remixing it to 3093. Oppenheimer has passed Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse at the worldwide box office.
And Barbie's passed Super Mario Bros. For the highest grossing movie this year. We keep winning, boys.
Happy 52nd birthday earlier this week to one of Christian's goats, Ki-Hui Kwan.
Waymond.
Did you see the original voice of, speaking of Mario, the original voice of Mario, Charles Martinet, will no longer be voicing Mario and other characters. He will be moving into a new role at Nintendo as, quote, Mario Ambassador.
Whatever that means.
The quote here, "My new adventure begins. You are all number one in my heart. Woohoo!"
We talked about that last week. We got and this is the most comedic thing ever. We got a teaser for Rebel Moon that was almost 4 minutes.
Quite the tease.
Yeah, someone tell me the paradox here of a 4-minute teaser. And on top of that, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't care before. I still don't care because this is just Zack Snyder's like, you didn't let me make a Star Wars film, so I'm making my own version of Star Wars. It's like, yeah, Zack, sure.
Yeah, I have no interest. No offense.
But you have thoughts?
Didn't even know it was a thing until I got the notification on my phone from the StreamerSZN Twitter account because we have Netflix's notifications turned on that the trailer dropped. Teaser, whatever you want to call it.
One thing I want to highlight because, so Sunday is National Cinema Day, where movie tickets are $4 all day. So feel free to come to a theater and make theater staff like me have a living hell of a day.
Sunday might be the day I finally am able to
see Barbie and Oppenheimer
and do the Barbenheimer experience.
No, guys. See, here's what you have to do. You have to do Barbie, Oppenheimer, and then Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
Or Barbie, Oppenheimer, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem.
Yeah.
Or all four.
I might just camp out theater.
Yeah, just go from theater to theater.
Can I get a one-night residency?
Hey, Kyle. Here's speaking as someone who works at a theater. I mean, you come in carrying your hoodie, and inside the hoodie, because no one's gonna check it. If you're carrying it, you could hide everything from a hoagie and a Gatorade to a gigantic bag of candy.
Especially in our awesome StreamerSZN hoodies that you can get at PHI Apparel Company.
Yeah.
10% off, code underground at checkout.
They definitely won't check it if it says StreamerSZN on it.
No, you're gonna get the clear. That's like TSA pre-check.
Yeah, true.
I know we are not the biggest fans on this podcast of getting things remade if there's no need for them to be remade. I gotta tell you, I'm low-key kind of excited for Good Burger 2. We got our first teaser for that. It's releasing in the fall on Paramount+. I'm low-key excited. I will be watching.
Here's the thing. They're remaking Good Burger 2. They made Zoe 102, which was an abomination. I watched half of it and I'm like, I give up.
You poor unfortunate soul.
Well, no, I was morbidly curious, so I was like, let's see how bad this actually is, and oh boy, and so this is also where I'm like, I know Welcome to Good Burger was a thing. I didn't care for it that much, and while they're making this, everyone's still everyone, including the actors in it, are basically like, where is the Ned's Declassified re re reboot?
Which,
Because
shout out, no free shout outs. That podcast rules.
yes, and 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 all those people want to do it. They've talked about how people have come up with ideas for it. And it's
They
just
came up with an idea for it.
Yeah, and it's like, what are we doing here, guys? Come on, please, we're begging you.
I got to tell everybody, we're all in the trust tree here, the streamer season trust tree.
Kumbaya, kumbaya, kumbaya.
Jennifer Moseley was big time childhood crush, and Lindsay Shaw to this day. Good grief, she is gorgeous.
Like
Underrated.
yeah, we like there's a whole one-off episode we could do where we just bemoan the fact of how good we had it in like mid to late 2000s, and how we just look at the stuff now and just nothing like it gets made, because first of all, a bunch of it just ends up on streaming,
Mm-hmm.
and it gets lost to the ether. And but it's like, oh god.
Speaking of podcasts, a Frozen podcast series is launching later this year, which will be set before Frozen 3. The 12-part series follows Queen Anna, who must quickly find out why the spirits of nature are acting up, and finds mysterious copper machines disrupting the natural order.
Let this shit go. Let this shit go. Stop making it Disney, please. Let this shit go. Let this shit go. I'm begging you, god damn it. Here I stand, and here I keep saying, stop making this fucking shit. It'll keep bothering all of us anyway.
That was gold.
And Kyle, that's your social clip. And now Kyle, I expect you to actually post this one, okay? I expect you to actually post this one.
Oh my god, I'm gonna throw up. That's hilarious. Man.
And Kyle, that was totally off the cuff.
That was brilliant. Job well done. We talked about this before we started recording. Sofia Coppola's Priscilla has secured a SAG-AFTRA interim agreement that allows the stars to promote the movie, since it is being released by A24, who has agreed to SAG's proposal.
Indie movies, indie distributors that are worth less than major studios can agree to these things? What? Huh? Who would have thunk it? Yuck, yuck.
We got a nice little Ron Perlman quote here, everybody. Buckle up.
Uh-oh.
Ron Perlman says, all we want to do is tell stories about human beings. How the fuck can we tell stories about humanity if they want to dehumanize us? It doesn't make sense. All that money generated every year from our work, there's plenty of that to go around. Hell
Actually,
yeah, brother.
Yes.
Looking right here. There was one. Oh, this is very exciting. More Paramount Plus news. The first 2 seasons of the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series are releasing on Paramount Plus September 19th.
Speaking of Paramount Plus, no free ads. If anyone wants to watch, the original Zoe 101, Ned's Declassified, and all that classic Nickelodeon stuff, you can find it on there.
This makes me feel incredibly old. 25 years ago this week, Blade released in theaters.
I've watched Blade. I understand why it has the acclaim behind it, but it's very much of its time.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Do we want to talk about comic book resources?
Oh yeah, let's talk about comic book resources because you fucking idiots. That's what I gotta say about comic book resources. Let me pull up the article here. Comic Book Resources Twitter account was hijacked today as we record this on technically Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, but on Tuesday, by a former employee, and the tweet reads, "Despite rumors to the contrary, we have not eliminated our news section. We simply fired all the news editors who didn't resign in protest and have been slowly gutting our other departments as Valnet continues CBR's shift to an AI-driven, clickbait-focused content mill." 2 tweets from former employees speaking on their experiences at Comic Book Reference. One time, a few months back, right after a wave of firings, all the CBR editors had a meeting with some higher-ups. We were told nobody else was going to be let go. When we got out of the call, we learned someone had been fired during the meeting. Do not work for Valnet, ever. Sending this person love and solidarity. When I was at CBR, I worked a minimum of 50 hours a week and got paid $2,000 a month. When I asked for better compensation, I was fired. Some websites for the people out there that are owned by Valnet: Screen Rant, Collider, MovieWeb, Game Rant, the Gamer website, Dual Shockers, and How to Geek. Big fucking yikes, dog.
Oof, 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 oof.
Not only is it bad from a perspective of workplace and everything, but your whole fucking business model being shifted to just AI-generated bullshit is horrific.
See, here is the funny thing about that. What is it? Was it Total Pro Sports? Yeah, Total. I swear, Total Pro Sports is just written by a AI now. Because if you look at the headlines combined with the headlines are so clickbait, like 90% of the time, and even though they say they are written by writers, I don't believe that fully.
Oh yeah, I'm sifting through it now, and like the first 3 that I read are
Exactly.
here, for people listening. Here are 3 of Total Pro Sports' tweet headlines. Awful situation. Space. Rest in peace. NFL fans are deep in prayer for Arizona Cardinals organization after after having 2 trigger warning suicides of a 23-year-old and 16-year-old members of the Cardinals fan base.
So one
tweet headline: Digs like that XXX shit! Exclamation point. Because it was found this morning that Trayvon Diggs doesn't know that his likes are public on Twitter. If you want to find more about that, just go search Twitter, just search Trayvon Diggs' name. And then Michael Orr, after being questioned about the drama with The Blind Side, tweet headline: and there it is, ...
I'm like I refuse to believe AI is not involved in some way with how clickbaity it is. Like, it's actually horrific.
Yeah. That's why everybody should be following and subscribing to StreamerSZN.
Yes.
So yeah, fuck CBR and the click they claim, because the click they're trying to claim is clickbait. Looking right here, Ben Affleck was announced as Batman 10 years ago today.
Sad he got stuck with shitty movies.
I don't recognize Ben Affleck as Batman, but that's just me.
I don't know what to tell you.
This is kind of wild. New Sony patent would allow 100 people to play a game simultaneously on one giant theater screen.
Are we talking like a gigantic Super Smash Bros. Lobby or something? I'm fundamentally.
Here's the quote from the patent link. A technique for scaling a multiplayer co-op and competitive computer gaming to dozens or even scores of people playing simultaneously. For example, in a movie theater. The gameplay occurs on the giant screen at the front of the theater. Each person has a controller to control one character or avatar in a gameplay space that is projected on the screen. In a theater with 100 people in the seats, for example, 100 respective avatars can appear on the screen, each controlled by a respective different player.
Yeah, see, my only question with this is like, are we talking Sony selling these things and it only works in specific games they make for it? Or are we talking like this flexes into like, oh, like this could be done with like a like Smash Brothers thing or with this or with that, but like Smash Brothers
That'd be
is
one
Nintendo.
wild ass game of Mario Kart.
I don't know how the
Man,
people at the back of the field would be able to see what they're doing.
could you imagine being in first place in a 100 person field of Mario Kart
No,
and
see,
then somebody blue shells your ass?
no, see, I'm currently imagining 100 people trying to play Super Smash Bros. At the same time, and you just have all these people flying around on one map, and no one can keep track of their character.
That's kind of wild.
Yeah,
That'd be
kind of.
so many player skins.
So many skins.
That's so many me characters.
That's so many Kirby's, Kyle. Hold on.
That's so many
Hold
young
on,
Bowser Juniors.
Kyle. What if Kirby eats a 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 Kirby? What happens then?
The top doesn't stop spinning.
Cue Hans Zimmer music.
Who's your go-to in Smash?
I'll put you like this. I have played Smash probably 5 to 10 times in my life. I'm dog at it.
Oh, I'm terrible, but I enjoy it for the funskis.
Yeah, cause my problem is I follow the shiny thing, and at some point I lose track of my character, and on top of that, I'm just button mashing. So I'm like this, that. I'm not doing anything.
I do have to say, like, it wasn't wildly acclaimed like some of the other. Super Smash Bros. Brawl was amazing. The fact that it had a story mode made it beautiful, and that's how the Super Smash Bros. Cinematic Universe is going to happen. I'm looking because I think I sent something in the group chat earlier in the week. Oh yeah, this theory that I saw on a Facebook reel. Did you ever watch Camp Lazlo on Cartoon Network?
Yes.
So I feel like is a
Lazlo, 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 and that's what was his name.
I feel like that show it gets lost in the zeitgeist of Cartoon Network like
Again,
amazingness.
Kyle, again, would you like to do a entirely separate podcast
We had
just
it good.
unpacking just unpacking 2000s Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network? Because I'll happily do it.
We could do a 3-episode saga: Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, and
Yeah,
then Cartoon Network.
like literally, let's plan it and do it because we would have a ball of a time.
It's so good. Camp Lazlo, for anybody that doesn't know, was amazing. Like post, like Courage the Cowardly Dog, Powerpuff Girls era on Cartoon Network, but still in the like great shows, like in the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy kind of zeitgeist. Great show.
To be clear to people, there was 5 seasons with 61 total episodes, and it ran from July 2005 to March 2008. And for our entire childhoods, we were inundated with reruns.
And it never felt like the finale ever aired on television because
no.
I saw this theory video that was posted on Facebook Reels, and I was like, I never saw this episode on television, like, ever. So apparently, the camp counselor that we all came to know for his just, like, being sassy and angry and cranky was not the actual camp counselor in the end. He was impersonating being a camp counselor and threw the actual camp counselor in a closet, and this guy gets out of the police car, and he's like a giant cow. That is the character animal that he is. He looks all like shaven, and he's naked, and the creators of Camp Lazlo are also the creators of Rocko's Modern Life, which is one of my all-time favorite Nicktoons. The theory is that the actual camp counselor is Heifer Wolf from Rocko's Modern Life, because it is the same voice actor as Heifer that is playing the actual camp counselor. And this was the creator, like the show creator's way of crossing over his 2 shows and bringing Nickelodeon into Cartoon Network.
Insert X-File music here.
/ X-Men. I love theory shit like that. And the fact that it like lines up, it's the same show creator, so like would it shock me if that's like his little tip of the cap at the end of his second successful show to cross over one of his characters? Absolutely not. Plus the art styles very similar. Very fun fan theory that Heifer Wolf was the actual camp counselor in Camp Lazlo. That's all I've got in the multiverse news and notes. Make sure you guys are following us on the socials at StreamerSZN on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and on TikTok at StreamerSZNPod. Follow Christian at the Wiz_PHI on Twitter. Follow me at KBIZZL311. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple, Spotify, or wherever the hell you get your podcasts. Leave a 5-star rating and review. It goes a long way for helping this show continue to grow. Helps more people find Streamer Season. And in the podcast reviews, leave your show and movie recommendations. We are curating our poll that we're going to be putting out to the people very, very soon for post in between Ahsoka and everything to be talking about. We got some stuff that we're going to throw on there that we want to hear from you guys and what you want us to break down, because we want you guys more involved with us. So leave those reviews there. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. That's where you get full video episodes of this show and every show on our network. You get clips, live streams, original video content. You can also leave your show and movie recommendations in the YouTube comment section. And be sure to get your merch at phiapparel.co and use code underground for 10% off your order. And this has been another edition of StreamerSZN, the exclusive streaming platform TV and movie podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. For Christian, I'm KB. We're going to go try to find Grand
Galaxy
Admiral
far,
Thrawn
far away.
while still believing in a galaxy far, far away. But until then, we're getting the heck up out of here. We are signing off. Peace.